What the hell? I'll show that right now. Here's my list of how I would fix college football.
Okay.
Number one, way less commercials. The NFL does it perfectly. NFL is about a 3-hour game, 3:15 at most. College football is about 4 hours because it goes kickoff, commercial, offensive series, commercial, and it's like there's too many commercials. So killing the commercials or figuring out a way to add commercials while it's still showing the actual field and not adding more time to the game. Everyone loves football, but at some point it's like, this is too much,
Well, in the future, like the next generation attention spans are even more limited.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to figure out ways of get it to fit in a 2-hour triangle and then a 1 hour. And they're going to be at a point.
I think 3 hours is the sweet spot. I really think that is the sweet spot, because if you can, if you're there, there's enough going on to keep your attention. Maybe what they need to do is boost like the Wi-Fi signal there, so people can be interactive somehow, or maybe like, betting or gambling becomes a thing there, which that's a whole other, issue. But
what if they figured out a way to add more time to the regulation clock and make it not stop as often?
College football did get rid of that. Like if on a first down, the clock stops, that really didn't, like, I mean, it might be a possession or two, but it's not like it didn't affect like the time of the games super a lot. So I would have to look into that a little bit more. But in my opinion, college football, just limit the amount of commercials. Like the NFL, whatever they're doing it right. And college football needs to find that model. Just in my opinion, like you said, the attention spans of people are different, but football is it's not quite basketball with the fast-paced aspect of it. And it's not baseball where it's boring. You can read a book while you're watching it as well. But college football needs to get more on the NFL level in the sense of pace of play and not just limiting the amount of commercials.
Now, the NASCAR model where they keep the race going, but they show the commercial like in a split screen.
Not a terrible idea.
Would you pay attention to the commercial?
Not a terrible.
Effective.
To me, I don't really, you watch the commercials, but do you really watch them? I'm usually on my phone or whatever in between. But I don't know if it's an Ohio State game or a game or, a YSU game or whatever game I'm super into that time. I am focused 100% on the game. And if a commercial like takes up, they don't have to split the whole screen. They can put it in a little window. But I think when they do, like when they're huddling up or something, you can fit a 20-second commercial in that span and still make your revenue and add money then. But do we need a touchdown, then your extra point, then a commercial, then to come back, do a kickoff, and then another commercial? No. I think you wipe that out, put your commercial on when the offense is coming on the field, the special teams is coming off the field, stuff like that. That's when you can do those little transitions. And hopefully people buy into that, because to me, there's too many commercials. And I get that's where they make their money. There's billions of dollars over the course of seasons in college football, and it's a moneymaker, and money drives all. So I get that, but they need to figure out a way. The NFL is like the king of all sports. So they need to figure out a way to college football to get it on the NFL's level.
So the next generation specifically seeks out venues that have zero commercials. They would rather pay for to watch the game than to suffer any commercials. So if it's basically $3 a quarter, right?
Okay.
They would pay $12 for a game.
I think
and
you're
have
right.
Zero commercials whatsoever.
I think you're right. Not everybody financially, like, and I'm not saying $12 is a lot of money, but $12 for certain people might be a lot of money where they might not be able to afford that. And maybe they have to watch the commercial version. But like, there still needs to be those transition times where there are little breaks in the game, timeouts or whatever. Yeah, fillers.
Yep.
But there doesn't need to be 4 minutes of filler. Maybe limit it to 2, cut it in half, or find those other 2 minutes where you can, put those little split screens or whatever it might be. So my opinion, I don't think I'm in the minority on that, though. I think the vast majority of people think college football is too long. So do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, like I said, I think the NFL has the perfect model. They probably still have too many commercials, but I don't feel like you're waiting around as ridiculously as long of a time on like the next series or the next play.
Every sport keeps escalating in the cost and how much nut they have in producing, one game. And with so much of that cost, you have to sell so many commercials, and then it becomes a majority commercials and like half of it's actual football.
Yeah.
If you can make the costs lower, I don't know how you get the costs out of games though. When NBC pays $4 billion for NFL coverage, like I don't know how you get that back without adding 50% more commercials every season.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I think they're all smart enough to figure out, like, I don't know. And there's probably something to be said where there's like a peak, and like it's going to eventually plateau, where it's like there's only, most, I don't even want to say most, but there's so many people, like everyone you and I know watches at least a couple games a year, but we are generally like, we like the Browns, and we like football and all that stuff. Not everyone loves football the same amount. So they still have to drive that revenue, but I don't know what the answer is.
So last season, Peacock and Prime
Mm-hmm.
gatekeeped a couple of games where you had to have a subscription in order to watch. So if in the future you had to subscribe to an NFL channel or whatever and get no commercial, would you do it? How much would you pay?
Yeah, that's a good question on how much. Like if the Browns are playing, if the Buckeyes are playing, I'm probably paying it, or I'm going to find a way where I'm going to know I'm going to watch it. Maybe if you're watching at your house, maybe I throw you $10 and, whatever, or $5, whatever it is. If it's pay-per-view, like, which maybe we'll eventually get to, but I think with all the subscriptions, there's Prime, there's YouTube TV, there's Red Zone package, there's, all this other stuff. You're paying kind of individually for those different subscriptions. So everyone's getting their money. It's just a matter of how much money do they need. So I don't know. Do you think that's the way of the future?
I do.
You think pay-per-view?
I really think people are going to be purchasing ad hoc from the buffet menu, only paying for what you view, not subscriptions to all of this stuff. Because I think we're paying less and less attention to one specific channel. Like nobody goes home and watches 20, WFMJ or whatever, all night long.
No,
right?
No.
You go get the content that you want and you're out.
And most TV now is not like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like sit and watch TV. Most of it's 100%. Like on demand.
Yeah.
100%. Like I even know on like the people that watch this podcast, like most people aren't watching right now when we're doing it live. Like I know some friends that watch it or some family that watches it 7:30 because that's most convenient for them. And it's the same thing with YouTube. YouTube has become the wave of like, that's where your most viewers come from.
All the consumers that are 30 years and younger consume content that way.
And it's like, so the only on-demand things right now, like live TV, you used to say, if you want to watch Seinfeld, you used to have to watch it at 9:00 on a Thursday night, or else you're out of luck till a rerun. But now you can pretty much watch anything except a live sporting event or maybe live news coverage.
The only reason is the spoilers. People that on social media will ruin the score for you. If they never did that, and I just got home at 7:00 on Sunday night and started playing the Browns game and could skip commercials.
Yep.
And I didn't know how it ended, I could watch it as if it were live.
Yeah. Fact.
You assholes ruined it for me.
So maybe what we need to say, if you're going to watch it later, don't go on social media.
Blackout.
Like that's what you got to do. So yeah, fair enough. But you can't also be at like a soccer game where someone's, on there saying, oh yeah, the Browns scored or the Buckeyes scored or whatever it might be.
They just ruin it for you.
They're going to ruin it for you. So
totally.
All right, real quick. Let me run through this list of the rest of the ways.
This is my favorite show ever.
So we need to fix NIL, and we are Petrie, excuse me. Call Joe back. we need to have you back down here.
Yes.
I'm gonna call Ty. I'm gonna call Ty as soon as I leave here.
Let me see. He responded.
Okay, but Ty is one of the Youngstown collective people. But the NIL, way Youngstown State does it is perfect. Like, and I think the way the Penguin Collective designed it is the way it was supposed to be. It's like, get a little cash in these guys' pockets. It's not to buy like Maseratis and like, live in mansions and, all this other stuff. I think it's designed to like, hey, let's give these guys and girls a better lifestyle. They're making money for the college. Let's put a little bit of money back in their pockets, right?
Because they are the end product. And it's not fair that the college makes all the money and they make none.
Right. So with them, share some revenue, get that back to them. So fix the NIL mess. It needs regulation. People like Livy Dunn, God bless her. She is unbelievable. She's gorgeous. She's fun to look at. And she's a very talented gymnast. Not Blake Lively, Livy Dunn. But yeah. So yeah. Okay. So if you don't know who Livy Dunn is, just look her up. But she is a fantastic gymnast for Louisiana State, and she is one of the highest paid NIL stars, and God bless her, she should be, because she can do what she does. But it shouldn't also be like Livy Dunn makes $4 million and like someone to her skill level gets nothing. But if you watch a couple of her videos, you'll probably see why she gets paid what she gets paid. She is a fantastic athlete, but also a beautiful human being, and that's what sells. So I get it. Also, the transfer portal. Let's fix that. You should get a one-time free transfer. Maybe the school you committed to wasn't the school you wanted. You should be able to transfer out one-time free. If your coach or position coach or coordinator leaves, you should be able to leave that school unencumbered there. So you should have, that's like a little bit of a, asterisk on the one-time transfer. Teams cannot play 3 times in a season is my next one. Next year, there's a very good chance a team like Alabama and Georgia could play 3 times, once in the regular season, once in the SEC championship game, once in the college football playoffs. Same thing with Ohio State and Oregon. Ohio State travels to Oregon this year. They could very well play in the Big Ten title game. They could very well play in the college football playoff. Ohio State, Michigan, same thing. Revenue sharing in bowl games to encourage players not to opt out. That is my next one. Joe, I'm putting that up on the screen. We're not putting Joe's just looking at pictures of Livy Dunn, which I don't blame him either. So revenue sharing in bowl games. Fix the calendar. I know a lot of college football. I would love to have a college football coach on and talk about the calendar, the recruiting schedule, all that stuff, and figure that out. And then we're going to bring back this topic on like a normal show, and keep traditional rivalries. Pitt, West Virginia, obviously Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon State, all like hundreds of them, well, dozens of them throughout college football. So those are my 7 that I came up with. I think I got enough of them, but way less commercials, number 1 for me. And then we figure it out from there.